Hi everyone, my name is Laurie and welcome along to LL Sports TV and episode 3 of the show we call Bonded by Boxing, the show that discusses all the major talking points in boxing. This weekend there's only one fight in town to really get into, and it's taking place over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Many people calling it the biggest fight of the year so far. Oleksandr Usyk defending his WBC, WBO and IBO titles against Tyson Fury, who he beat earlier in May in Saudi Arabia to win the titles. Joining me to discuss and preview the fight, we got Daryl from the Boxing Lowdown. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Looking forward to this fight, man. I can't believe that it's come around so soon now. I mean, here we are a few days before Christmas, and we got an early Christmas present, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, really looking forward to it, man. Highly anticipated rematch. The first fight, really enjoyed it. We finally got, an undisputed heavyweight champion in the heavyweight division, although since then one of the belts has been split and it now resides with Daniel Dubois. But yeah, listen, really looking forward to this rematch. Hopefully it will draw the curtain on this saga. Feels like it's been ongoing for ages, with the fight being rescheduled, then called off, and then finally happening. And, I think, yeah, really looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first fight. Usyk was a clear winner for me. And I'm really looking forward to the rematch.
Definitely. It's interesting that in the lead up to this fight, one of the major talking points going into this fight at the weekend has been the weight. Now, a lot of people are speculating the weight as to which Tyson Fury will come in now. Also Usyk, but up to a much higher degree, Tyson Fury. They're saying that the school of thought is that it will come in heavier, significantly heavier, although we don't know quite how much yet. I guess we'll have to wait until weigh-in day. And I would imagine that him coming in heavier will dictate his tactics. So what I mean by that is if he's in heavier, then I would imagine the tactics will be to stand his ground more and hold the center of the ring. And you'll look to push Usyk back, be the bigger, stronger guy. And he might carry a bit more weight of his punches. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I think in the first fight, Tyson Fury, his success for me stemmed from him boxing from the center of the ring. I thought he was doing very well in terms of like sticking out his jab, targeting the head and the body. And those middle rounds, he did really well in them, like 5, 6, 7. It was then, I think maybe the 7th, 8th was when Usyk took over again. But yeah, if he is to stand his ground and look to take it to Usyk, I think we're in for a great fight. Because Usyk has let it be known from the first fight that I'm going to be right on you. I'm not going to let you breathe. He said that. So if Fury is looking to employ those tactics, then maybe he's seen something from the first fight. But I feel he did pretty good when he stood his ground and was kind of boxing. And, it wasn't necessarily pressing forward. It was like employing a good boxing game. So, yeah, this is different tactics for Fury. But, it would be effective to use your size and your height and your weight and try and lean on the smaller man and try and break him down. That because it's going to be hard to outbox Usyk for 12.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think him coming in heavier and looking to be more aggressive could also be viewed as a tacit admission on his part that he's no longer got the legs to move around the ring for 12 rounds. So he's going to have to stand his ground more. He's going to have to let his hands go a bit more. I mean, it's interesting as well, in the lead up to this fight, Tyson Fury's been on the record several times as saying that when he fights Usyk again, he's going to have to be more aggressive because he doesn't have any confidence in him getting a decision. Now, how much of that is reality or how much of that is, does he really believe that? Or is it just, like I said, a tacit admission that he doesn't have the legs anymore? I mean, he is 35 years old. He's been boxing for a long, long time. I can't imagine him floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. I think the tactics will definitely be to try and be more aggressive, push Usyk back, land heavier shots, and see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fury's playing a bit of mind games here with regards to the decision because for me, I thought the first fight was fair, first of all. And for the second fight, I mean, Turki Al-Sheikh has let it be known. I'm not sure if you saw the interview where he basically admitted that, Usyk wrecked his plans. So, does that tell you that tells me he was leaning for Tyson Fury to win? So I think that the boxing, not necessarily the public, but those in boxing probably would have preferred a Fury win because with him winning, the bigger fights could have been made with the likes of AJ and so on. So yeah, I don't think that there was anything unfair about the decision. I think if anyone needs the knockout more, it'll probably be Usyk because it might be harder getting a decision over Fury. But let's see. You know, I hope that
Yeah.
it's fair and it's down is you know the fight is conducted fairly. But yeah, I think if anyone has to worry more about that, it'd be Usyk.
No, I think you make a great point because I do agree with you. The powers that be will almost certainly would have wanted, even though they would never come out and say it, obviously, they would almost certainly would have wanted Fury to win. Because let's be honest, man, him versus Joshua for the majority of the belts is a sexy fight, so to speak. And he's a bit more marketable. Some would say far more marketable than Usyk is. But having said all that, we believe in meritocracy. The best man should win. And as you quite rightly said, Daryl, in that first fight, to me, there was no doubt that Usyk did more than enough to win the fight. I know Tyson Fury in his camp tried to suggest it was close. It could have gone either way. But for me, watching that fight, I thought that Usyk did more than enough. And I couldn't quite see why the Fury team were complaining so much. I mean, it was competitive, without a doubt. It was a very good fight. But the fight swung between the 8th and 9th rounds. I think Tyson Fury picked up a cut. In the 9th round, we saw Usyk take it to him in a big way, hurt him badly. I think he landed a number of clean, unanswered punches, which in any fight, literally anywhere in the world, would have seen Fury get stopped. So I think he was done a bit of a favour that night, to be honest. So I don't see Rise complaining, but anyway, he is. But we'll see. I mean, just keeping on the tactics of the fight, I think what we've seen over the years is Usyk will tend to start relatively slowly. He will engage in what we call downloading the data, where he won't move back too much. That's one thing about Usyk. He doesn't get backed up that much, but he might not throw a whole lot of punches in the early rounds. He's basically downloading the data, seeing what you got. He is, though, quite aggressive with his feet, so he can push people back just by using his feet and using feints and head movement, which means he's not really backing up, but he's making you work a lot. He did that very noticeably to Tony Bellew, and he was allowing Tony Bellew to get shots off. He was avoiding a lot of them with his head movement, but he was still staying in the pocket. He wasn't moving too much. And then what tends to happen with Usyk is he'll start cranking up the engine after rounds 4, 5, 6, and he almost always finishes strong. Usyk, would you agree that that is a Usyk tactic?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, what do I know? I don't know. I'm not. I'm not on Usyk's team. But if I was Usyk, I wouldn't start off too slow. One, for the sake of the judges, you mean you throw rounds away, not necessarily throw them away, but you know take those early rounds off. Then that just gives it a swing in Fury's favor. And then also, you don't want Fury to get too confident. You know, like you got to
Mm.
remind him what happened in the last fight. Like I nearly had you out of there in one of the rounds, and I won the fight. So if he was to let him back in, Fury, I don't know, it could let him grow his confidence maybe if that was the case. So if I was Usyk, I would just like not necessarily let it all out in the first couple of rounds, but just kind of remind him, like put that pressure on him, put some doubt in his head that you know you're going to be in for another tough night, and this is going to go as long as it is, and you're going to be, you know, you're going to be physically and mentally challenged all the way.
Yep, I hear that. One of the areas where people said you can exploit, if not a weakness, but a shortcoming of Oleksandr Usyk is punching him to the body. Now, we've seen Daniel Dubois drop Usyk quite heavily with a body shot. Okay, it was determined as low. I must admit, at the time, I thought it was a borderline shot. But he did go down and he was grimacing in agony.
It was low.
We've seen Anthony Joshua hurt him to the body. We saw Tyson Fury hurt him with an uppercut as well. So he can get hurt. So what do you think of those people who say that Fury does have a chance of hurting and even possibly knocking Usyk out in the rematch? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's definitely got a chance to hurt him. Yeah, I mean, he's we've seen Usyk hurt before, you know, but stopping him, I mean, the guy's never lost, so I can't say you know that he will stop him. But yeah, for me, I think that might be the way to go in terms of putting the pressure on, hitting him in the body where you know he has shown a bit of vulnerability before, and kind of seeing where it goes. I mean, you're not going to win by just going boxing with him. You know,
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that's
that.
yeah. I think that's something that we can both agree on without any shadow of doubt. I cannot see Tyson Fury outboxing Usyk over 12 rounds. Don't get me wrong, there will be rounds where I'm sure he's capable of outboxing Usyk for that round. I mean, we saw it in the first fight. He did have success, especially early. And like I said, he did hurt Usyk a couple of times, most notably with the uppercut. There was a couple of shots to the body that got Usyk's attention also. But I'm with you, Daryl. I can't see him outboxing Usyk over 12 rounds. Unless, of course, he was to drop him or hurt him badly a couple of times and get a couple of 10-8 rounds. But I can't see Fury, especially at this stage of his career, 35 years old. He's had a lot of hard fights now. He's had to get off the floor in a number of fights. Even in the last fight against Usyk, he took a bit of a battering, let's be honest, in that 9th round. So he's been through it, man. So I tend not to agree with the school of thought that's been put out there that Tyson Fury can outbox Usyk. I think going back to what we was alluding to earlier, he's going to have to try and rough Usyk up, man, push him back and bully him in there, you know what I mean? And then hit him with hard shots and make Usyk second guess himself. But can he do that over 12 rounds, though? That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because we've seen, AJ did, try be a bit more aggressive in the rematch. That didn't work. We've seen other heavyweights try and take it to Usyk. Dubois was a bit conservative, but he did have his moments where he tried to take it to him. Chisora tried to take it to him. No one's been successful in that sense. Now,
No.
Fury, for me, is like the best out there available for Usyk to fight. But, you know, like you said, he is 35, 36 years old now. He's had a lot of wear and tear. He's putting on a bit more weight, so he's not going to be as nimble. He's nowhere near as nimble as he was when he fought the likes of Klitschko in the first Wilder fight. So yeah, we're going to see Fury probably stand his ground a bit more. But in my opinion, that favors Usyk for me. I think
Yeah.
that favors Usyk. I think Fury, he's been dropped quite a few times, as we know. He's took a bit of punishment in his last few fights. He even got dropped against Ngannou. So for me, yeah, I know we're going to get to the predictions a bit later on, but I'm pretty set in who I think is going to win this fight. Pretty
Yeah.
conclusive as well.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man. I mean, you know, Fury, as I said before, he's been dropped. I've got to give him credit, man. His powers of recovery are, let's be honest, quite legendary. I mean, he's got off the floor several times. And even in the last fight in May with Usyk, he got off, well, I wouldn't say got off the floor, but he got out of that round 9, having taken a battering. And he, you know what I mean?
He's got a lot of
He,
heart,
he,
Fury.
he showed a lot. Especially, I think it was the 12th round. Some people said he might even have won that 12th round. So, listen, man, that gives you an indication into how tough Fury is. You know what I mean? He won't go down without a fight, that's for sure. But I do think that Usyk does have the edge in terms of cardio, in terms of freshness. I mean, it's interesting we say that because Usyk's actually a couple of years older than Fury. You know, I
Yeah,
think Usyk's 37 now, isn't
yeah,
he?
he
But
is.
that doesn't always tell the whole story.
He's
I
looked
think
after himself a lot better. He
exactly.
can, he's not face planting himself on the floor outside the pub, Usyk, So yeah, age wise, yeah, there's a couple of years difference, but in terms of ring age, Fury's a lot older in my opinion.
Ring age, and like you said, Daryl, Usyk lives the life Fury doesn't. A lot of the time we see Fury is in compromising situations in terms of, like you said, being face planted on the floor after being on a wild night out drinking. You never really see that with Usyk. Okay, let's move to predictions now. We've done the hors d'oeuvre. Let's get to the main course. Prediction time. I'll go first, unless you want to go first. Given you're the guest, I was going to give you to roll it out. I'll go first, and I'm going to say this. That I am going for an Usyk win. I actually think Usyk can win by stoppage this time, if not a wide points decision. I think I'm going to look at the weights come the way in, and if I see that Fury is a couple of stone heavier than he was last time, or even significantly heavier than he was last time, then to me that suggests that it'd be more of a stationary target, especially when the fight gets on in rounds. And I think that Usyk has superior fitness, superior cardio, and I think he'll wear Tyson Fury down both physically and mentally, because it's a very mentally challenging thing to fight Oleksandr Usyk. He puts pressure on you even when he's not punching, with his foot placement and, like I said, his feints and his head movement. So I think round about 8, 9, 10, I think Fury will slow down. I think Usyk will take over the fight, and I think he will start to really put it on Fury a bit, and I think he could get him out of there, man, in rounds between 10 and 12. So, yeah, that's my prediction. It's either a wide, unanimous points decision for Usyk or a late stoppage. In fact, I'm leaning towards a late stoppage, but I'm going to reserve judgment on that until I see the weights. But definitely I'm going for a Usyk win. Darryl, what's your prediction?
I'm going for Usyk late stoppage. I think that he will, like you, what you said, I think Fury will probably start well. Might win the first couple, but I reckon that Usyk will get his way into the fight. And I think he may start to dominate a bit and start taking it to Fury. I don't think he'll knock him out clean or anything. I think Fury, I don't think he'll get knocked out clean, but I can see the ref jumping in. But whether Fury and the powers that be will kind of want that situation, I don't know. But I kind of think that Usyk will win this conclusive again. I think he needs to. Don't want to risk it going to the cards too much, but yeah, he could win a decision. But something in me is just saying that he'll get a late stoppage. I'm not saying it won't be competitive up until then, but yeah, I think that Usyk might get the stoppage this time round.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I think it will be a good fight. First and foremost, it will be entertaining, because I do think that Fury will try and assert himself. He will let his hands go. We will get some excitement in this fight. But I just think ultimately, man, Usyk is too good. To me, Usyk is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. I mean, you've seen what he's done at cruiserweight, unified all the belts, come up to heavyweight, done the same thing. He's beaten everybody around. And I'm not seeing him... Obviously, he's getting older, so he's not quite as good as he was a few years ago. But there's no noticeable slowing down of him. Whereas with Fury, I've seen noticeable slowing down of him. And I've seen noticeable regression with Fury. So unless he gets an absolute Hail Mary on this occasion, I can't see him dethroning Usyk. I think Usyk will be too good, too ambitious. He's fighting for his country. You know what I mean? All of those factors just add up to Fury not being able to take it this time. But I still think that Fury will probably go on to fight Joshua sometime in early to mid 2025. But for this particular fight, I think that Usyk wins, and he wins conclusively. Like I said, wide points or late stoppage. But like I said, I'm going to reserve judgment on the late stoppage until I see just how heavy Tyson Fury comes in. But you never know. Usyk may well come in a bit heavier as well. But one thing we know about Usyk, he will be in tremendous shape. But anyway, Darryl, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure having you on. Really appreciate it. I'm sure you'll be watching the fight. We're going to be doing a watch along on DR Sports. I know you can't make it because you're otherwise engaged. But yeah, it's going to be a great night. I'll look forward to talking to you about the fight next week on our next episode of Bonded by Boxing. But in the meantime, thanks again. And also to all the people out there watching, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. I'm out. Darryl, is there anything you want to say just before we go? I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, really looking forward to the fight. Appreciate you having me on. Really enjoying being on the show. And yeah, of course, during the fight, if you want to get some extra commentary and some expert analysis from the panel, then make sure you tune into DR Sports, where there will be a live watch along on the fight, hosted by yourself, I believe. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Well said. Well said. Okay, guys, we're out. Take care.